G'day everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'll be showing 14 unique regions around the world that you must know. They'll make your GeoGuessr guesses insane. These regions are very unique and all have their own special characteristics. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, as we can see here, we're in Peru, and as you can see, Peru is a very mountainous country along with where the coverage is. It's along the west side, but as you can see up in this pocket here, we've got this flat part of Peru which is just completely flat. And if we drop into a location, as you can see, it looks like the rest of Peru, which is that mountains. Like, it's very dry, it's very flat. We have this kind of like dead kind of looking shrubbery, or like this dead kind of bush, and yeah, this kind of just very like sparse looking vegetation. And yeah, you see this kind of desert looking sparse vegetation in a flat area in Peru, you're going to be here. It's like it's the only place that could be here. Let's make this. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, just remember this landscape. Again, you can go on Google Street View if you don't know what I mean by all this. It will really help you out. Next, we are now looking at Bolivia, so neighbor. As you can see, the coverage is quite sparse in Bolivia. Really, it's only covered around the cities here, not much out in the green area. But if you go into like a region just like near the city of Santa Cruz de la Sierra, as you can see, it's very green. You don't usually see this a lot in Bolivia. You usually think of desert when you think of Bolivia, but here it's very green, flat. This is just on the roads around Santa Cruz, and yeah, it just look way different from the other parts of Bolivia. So if you're in Bolivia and you have this green looking flat landscape, you're probably somewhere near Santa Cruz de la Sierra. And if we go into the excuse me, if we go into the city and click on somewhere, as you can see, very very green, got quite a few palms around, very green looking. Yeah, and it looks very different to La Paz or Cochabamba or Sucre. So yeah, also very good to keep in mind. Right, next one I'm showing you is going to be about the most northern state of Brazil, known as Roraima. Roraima is probably one of the most distinct Brazilian states, mainly because of its landscape, really. So we drop in somewhere on a Street View. As you can see, Roraima, it has quite red dirt, and there's just these flat grasslands with some trees around. But you mainly just these flat grasslands with a few bits of trees scattered around the place. But this is a very typical Roraima landscape. You don't see this anywhere else in Brazil. And again, just have a look on Google Street View around in Roraima, and this is pretty much what the most typical Roraima looks like in the northern parts. So yeah, this is a very typical Roraima with these red soils. So yeah, very good. Very good. It has helped me out in duels as well. I got a win recently because I knew this Roraima landscape and my opponent didn't. Yeah. Right. Next up, we're moving to Colombia. So we had a lot of South America in this world thing, but as you can see, Colombia coverage around here. But as you can see right here, it's a bit drier, and this dry region way up here in Colombia has a very sort of distinct landscape. It's just way different to any other part of Colombia. If we just drop into Street View, as you can see, it's very dry. It looks a bit like the Peru one actually, but if you know you're in Colombia, like maybe see if you get a place, you have the stubby antenna which you don't have in Peru. It's very dry. I don't know if you see this much cactus, but yeah, it's just very dry, very sandy and dry and arid, and yeah, it just looks nowhere else like in Colombia. So if you see this kind of landscape and you're in Colombia, you're probably in a very northern part of the country. Next one, we're now looking at Mexico. As you can see, Mexico is quite a mountainous country. The coverage spans all across the mountains, but there is this flat part of Mexico which is along in the Yucatan Peninsula, as you can see over here around Yucatan and Quintana Roo and Campeche. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. But yeah, if we go into somewhere like in Yucatan, like in one of these towns, as you can see, you got quite a few palms looking quite tropical. Yeah, very flat, of course, is the main thing I said, but excuse me. Also, you got these rock walls. If you see these rock walls around in Mexico, as you can see a bit better here. If you're in Mexico and you have rock walls, you're usually around the Yucatan area, kind of Quintana Roo area. Yeah, you can get very good points there, just going off rock walls and flatness and palm trees. Alright, next one I'm talking about, this very northern part of Northwest Territories. As you can see, Northwest Territories has very limited coverage. This is in Canada, way up north here. Only this road, the Dempster Highway, has coverage. But if we take a little look at it, it's not paved even. It's a highway. It's not even paved. And you have these very short trees because we're so close to the North Pole. You have these very short trees, very like orange and yellow, very cool colors, I'd say. But in Gen 2 as well. Gen 2 might change in the future, but at the moment it's only Gen 2. So yeah, you have these like orange and yellow vegetation, is very short, and a gravel road, Gen 2. You're going to be on the Dempster Highway, aren't you? In Inuvik in Northwest Territories. Very distinct. And in Yukon, it's a lot more mountainous. So in Northwest Territories like this, it's quite flat. In Yukon, it's a lot more mountainous. So you can sit on the Dempster Highway and get some very easy points. Alright, next one we've got here. We're going to look at Serbia, and the terrain map's also giving me a friend here. As you can see, Serbia is quite mountainous in the southern part up to sort of Belgrade, but in the north part is dead flat. Like, there's just no hills in sight. The only bit of elevation you get is around Novi Sad, where you get this ridge that you can see here. But otherwise, if you just go any part north of Belgrade, it is just completely flat. And if we just drop it in somewhere, like on some random road like here or something, as you can see, it looks like Serbia. Like maybe if you know Serbia, you have like no engine on the car, maybe a lot of blue strips, and you're in Serbia, but it's completely flat. You're going to be in the northern part. It's just completely flat. There's no mountains, but as you're in the south, there's more mountains around towards like Kosovo and like NMK, North Macedonia. But yeah, so in Serbia and very flat, go in the north and get a very, very high score. Right. Next one, we're going to look at Slovakia, not far away. Also the relief map with our friend. As you can see, it's a very mountainous country, a lot more mountains than Czechia, but that's not what we're here for. You have this as you can see, we have this very flat part around Bratislava, Nitra, just south around this kind of area. You can get over near Košice, or sorry how you say it, over there, but most of it, the flat region is around just near the Hungarian border, near Bratislava, Nitra, near the Hungarian border. And if we just, if we just drop it in somewhere like, I don't know, here or something. Wait for it. Well, we're in a town here, but like it's a lot flatter. It's Slovakia is without mountains. Like if you know in Slovakia, which have no mountains, like it's completely flat. I don't think Czechia can even get this flat. It's just in this part of Slovakia, it's just very flat. And yeah, go in that part of Slovakia. And yeah, it's only small regions. You can get almost some very good scores as well. So yeah, just a unique region of Slovakia. Alright. Next up, we're going to be looking at this part, Sumba Island in Indonesia, which is down by Timor. Here there's Surabaya. And Sumba, this island down here in Indonesia, has a very unique look to it. So if we just go into the coverage, there's not much coverage as you can see, but just click on somewhere, get into it. As you can see, it's very dry. You can have some palms around, but it's very dry. And yeah, I think it's covered in white color, but yeah, it's very white. You could confuse this with a lot of other places in the world, but maybe matching with that architecture in the background there probably narrows it down to Sumba. Sound of Sumba. Yeah. This is not, no one else looks like this in Indonesia. So if you're in Indonesia here, you can only be in Sumba. This such dry white landscape. It's pretty flat too. But yeah, a very distinct part of Indonesia. Next one, we're going to be looking at Jeju Island in South Korea. And in Jeju Island, you have black car coverage, but you have these black rock walls, which is only found in Jeju. You won't find it anywhere else in South Korea. Also, a good thing is you have this black volcanic earth, which you find a lot around, and with the black rock walls, with farm fields. Yeah, if you see this combination, you can only be in Jeju Island, which is just in case you didn't know, just this island down just off the coast of South Korea, just the mainland of South Korea. Yeah, just down here. Right, on to the next one, and we're going to be looking at the mighty country of Russia. And in Russia, any points can help you out because Russia is such a massive country. And another thing to notice is that there is not a lot of coverage in the northern part of the country, mainly just around these southern bits. As you can see, the coverage just comes up. You know, they get not a lot of coverage, very sparse coverage up in the north, but there's quite a lot around the city of Surgut. And in this part of Surgut, so we drop it, I don't know, just somewhere around here. As you can see, there's a lot of sand on the side of the road. That's what I wanted to say. Like, as you can see, it's like very, very, very sandy. You won't see this in any other part of Russia. You got black along antenna, but you got all this sand on the side of the road. This is very unique to Surgut. You won't find it anywhere else in Russia. So yeah, if you see sand, pretty good bet you're going to be in Surgut in Russia. Next time we're going to be talking about Kenya, and more specifically down in the south, down here in the coast near Mombasa, the city of Mombasa. And the thing about Mombasa looks way more different to things you see over Nairobi and way west. But yeah, the thing about Mombasa is that it looks much more tropical with sand and all that kind of thing. If we just waiting for it to load. If we just drag out the little man here and just click somewhere in it's in Mombasa really, just anywhere. If we click somewhere, wait, load in. As you can see, lots and lots of palm trees. Like we can see tons of palm trees as we just spawn in. Yeah, but this is like average soil. You got this white kind of sandy soil, and a lot of palm trees. So if you see in Kenya, you obviously got the classic Google car, but we got a lot of palm trees and white sandy soil. You can only be really in Mombasa, around near Mombasa, because it's very distinct. You won't find it anywhere else in Kenya. Next one. We're going to be talking about Darwin up here in the Northern Territory. And a good thing to know about Darwin is that it just looks so much more different than anywhere else in Australia, and that is the fact that it's very green and lush and looking very tropical. Yeah, with this very red soil, very green looking area, very like warm. Yeah, and obviously you got the poles as well, the holy metal poles. But with this like red soil and very green lush looking area, very tropical looking, you're going to be up near Darwin. Yeah. And here we go. We're now here at the Azores, which I believe this is the final one, I think. Yes, here we are on the Azores. These are islands just that belong to Portugal, by the way, if you didn't know what they are. But yeah, they belong to Portugal, they're islands belonging to Portugal. Obviously they will look way different to the coast, just the mainland of Portugal, because yeah, they're just the territory of it. But the thing to know about the Azores is that if you just drag it, just drop them in here, it's very green looking. But you have a lot of these, like, these are blue purple flowers. There's not many here, but you see a lot of these blue purple flowers around on an island. You're going to be on the Azores Islands, which is just out there in the Atlantic Ocean. But yeah, that's the main thing they have here, is very green and hilly. And yeah, you have these distinct blue flowers. So yeah guys, that will conclude the video. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really hope you did learn something. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, and I'll see you in the next one.